will go totally blind and have to kind of constantly adapt as my eyesight gets worse. And when I got to my early 20s, it was bad enough that a few people started to become aware, and someone suggested para sport.
This is the Game Changers Experience. Deep dive conversations with leading business disruptors, Olympic athletes, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and influencers from around the world. This show will teach you insights about the winning principles in mindset, productivity, marketing, branding, entrepreneurship, business strategy, and more. Hosted by Productivity Authority, business strategist, former elite athlete, author, and public speaker, Adam Strong.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Game Changers Experience. I am so excited and so super pumped that you are listening to this amazing show. I was going to say my name is Adam Strong. I'm the founder of the Game Changers Experience. And today we have a special guest on the show. His name is called Neil Fachie. And Neil is actually a double world and Olympic champion, by the way, in cycling. He's a Paralympic champion. He is... was going to say was featured in the Beijing 2008 Olympic Games and also in London 2012 as well. And we'll talk about that, by the way, because that's an interesting journey. Has won 26 major medals, of which I believe that you said one of them was gold in the London Olympic Games. And then you had 10 world championships and 4 Commonwealth. I think that's correct. Is that right?
Yeah, that could be an old one. It's not 14 world titles. I don't want to boast, but yeah, gotta get those numbers right.
It's all good. And also, just to let you know as well, that Neil is also a best-selling author and has got his amazing book called Earn Your Stripes, which we'll talk about actually towards the end, if that's okay with you, Neil.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Just want to say thank you so much for being on the show.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for inviting me along. Can't wait.
Awesome. So I just want to kind of jump in a little bit because I know that there is a real, we share a lot of great attributes, don't we? And we had a lot of fantastic conversations off the air and things like that. But I wanted to ask you, because you are Scottish, okay? And you got into, I suppose, athletics, back in 2006, I think it was.
Yeah, that's when I kind of made my international debut. And athletics was something, for me, it was a hobby from the age of 10. So I've been involved for a long, long time. I have a visual impairment, so I'm a person with a disability. But when I was younger, I hid that disability. It wasn't something, I think I came from just after that generation where we weren't really so open about things that weren't the same as everyone else. So I never competed as a disabled athlete. And yeah, I just competed able-bodied. It was my hobby for a long time. And it wasn't until I got into my early 20s that as my eyesight deteriorated, because it's a degenerative condition. So at some point in my life, I will go totally blind and have to kind of constantly adapt as my eyesight gets worse. And when I got to my early 20s, it was bad enough that a few people started to become aware, and someone suggested para sport. And I never thought my eyesight was bad enough, to be honest, just because it's something I'd grown up with, I'd lived with. But I got my eyes tested for the Paralympics and was told that, yeah, of course I was classified. I could have been competing for years. And suddenly my hobby was something that I started to think, well, I could pursue this as a potential career, which came quite nicely just towards the end of my degree, actually. So I didn't have to go and find a job. I could go down the route of full-time sport, and I found athletics. And, I was a 1 and 200 meter runner, and it ultimately led to just making it to the Beijing Games in 2008 to represent Team GB, which was just this remarkable shift from a hobby to something that was, just something I never even really dreamt of. It was huge. And it was at that point I really fell in love with the Paralympic Games. So when you go to a Games, you stay in the athletes' village for sort of before and during the Games. And I walked in there and was just struck by the sort of magnitude of it all. So you had athletes from almost every nation on earth, all with various disabilities. It's just incredibly diverse place. There's nowhere on earth like it for diversity. And I just absolutely fell in love with this. It was just huge. And the venues in Beijing, I mean, there's the Bird's Nest Stadium I was competing in, which is a 90,000 seater stadium, and just awe-inspiring. You know, I was used to competing, like I said, able-bodied in sort of local leagues up in Aberdeen in athletics, and suddenly I was competing in a 90,000 seater stadium. So it was just incredible, and I just completely fell in love with it. And it was, you know, I thought, oh, I found my calling. And I knew the London Games were 4 years away. I mean, they'd been announced a few years before, and I thought, wow, I mean, what a phenomenal thing that would be to represent your country at home Paralympic Games. And so that became my target. And during Beijing itself, I finished 9th in both my events, top 8 making the final. So, you know, I did okay, not great. I'd love